All right, now, let's say this is the soul. In order to learn lessons, the soul needs to gather information. Yes? All right. So since the soul is made of pure energy, it needs a physical body to use to experience what physical pain and pleasure is. It needs to have another body or shell to experience feelings. That's what you call astral body or emotional body. It needs a mental body to be able to process information called thoughts or thinking. Make sense? Now, this soul is called Atma in Sanskrit. What is it called in Spanish? Alma. In Italian, it's called anima, where the word animate comes from. So the soul literally enters the body and animates it. How are we doing so far? Now in Spanish, the word flesh or meat is called what? Carne. Right? Carne. So the soul made of pure energy and formless, what did I say? Formless needs to Who got that? So the spiritual self made of pure energy and light needs to enter a body in and take on flesh, carne, in order to function in those lower worlds. Who got that? So, to make it simple, that's why we did this, just imagine that liquid is the soul. In order to learn lessons, it pours a portion of its energy into a physical, emotional, and mental shell. How are we doing? See the liquid here? Say higher soul. See the liquid here? Where did they come from? Well, if there's a higher, there must be, say, lower soul. Incarnated soul. Embodied soul. So in other words, it's a part of the soul that now has a wrapping. So in other words, what you see walking around is like a human suit. Anybody remember many years ago, there's this movie called Cocoon? You know, these aliens, like this, and this light shooting around. I mean, that's a kind of easy way to explain it. Like you're a being of light wearing a human suit. What you call death is simply, how are we doing so far? So, let's do this again. In order for the soul to learn lesson, it has to put a portion of itself, of its energy, into physical, emotional, mental shells, go around, learn lessons. And then, at some point, when all the lessons are learned, that's what you call death. It is only the shells or the body discarded. That's what you call death. Are you doing so far? Now, where the heck did my cups go? All right. The question is, how do you evolve? I made these lines to tell you where the lines are, the amount of energy or knowledge the soul has. As it goes through life, learns lessons, it adds on knowledge and experience. From there, once the body dies, it's more. Now, it says, I want to learn more. It goes through life. Next lifetime, there's even more. Once this is full, no more lessons to learn, it doesn't have to come back. Are we communicating? Let's put it another way. How many of you are in business? Do you want to make a profit? So you invest time, money, and effort. So the soul is also in a certain business. It invests a portion of its energy, and then as it goes through life, it learns lessons. These lessons are what you call spiritual profit. When the body dies, the soul evolves. That's called spiritual profit. How are we doing so far up to here? Okay, now, I have a question for you. If all these lessons are absorbed by the soul, how come we keep doing the same stupid mistake? The soul doesn't forget. So how come we go, oh man, I can't believe I did that again. I knew that was wrong. How come I did it again? How many have experienced it before? Or how about this one? You're doing something really dumb and you're watching yourself do it. Never experienced? You scream, yeah, and part of you go, what are you doing? You go, I know, but I'll do it anyway. And then later on you go, I can't believe I knew it. Ever been there? It's like you're watching yourself. Here's what happens. The higher soul is connected to the lower or incarnated soul by a communication cable. That communication cable is what you've been scanning called the spiritual cord. So that spiritual cord determines the bandwidth of how much movement of data is going down and going up. Are we getting anywhere? So if that pipeline is tiny, it's just like dial-up. Remember dial-up? You type an email, a web address, you go to the toilet, read the newspaper, you come back, it's still loading. Remember those days? And now if you have fast internet, what happens? You type it like that. Now watch. Everybody still with me? So for ordinary people, the pipeline is so small, even though the lessons have already been learned, there is lag time in the movement of data. So if you're in okay, I should not beat up people because karmically it comes back as this and this. But the lower self is so wrapped up in the emotions and the desires of the earthly life, it takes over the incarnated soul. And then, there's a little bit of signal coming out like, this guy looking from the top going like this. Hey you, don't do that. But by the time it comes to, it's like, don't. A few hours later, do that. I mean, you get my point. There's lag time. Because of that lag time, oftentimes the incarnate soul already screwed up big time. They go, yeah, I know what you mean. Do you get my point? I'm using it everyday terms. Now watch. As you do more meditation and spiritual practice, the pipeline gets bigger. What happens to the pipeline? It gets bigger and bigger. So what happens is the two computers have a closer relationship. The data moves faster. So this manifests as different levels of awareness. What is it?